Hello, welcome to the book report. Now, I'm a huge King Arthur fan. I've probably read 100 books on King Arthur and the legend that surrounds him. And of all of the characters that surround King Arthur, my favorite has got to be Merlin. Merlin is a colorful character full of magic and mayhem, and he's usually the one who is blamed for all of the problems in the land of Camelot. However, let's consider Merlin as a real person. What was he like? Would he have been the magic user of the stories that, flew around on dragons and walked on water? Or is it possible that he could have been just a normal person? Well, I have a favorite series. It's called the Merlin Trilogy, and it's by Mary Stewart. Now, Mary Stewart portrays Merlin as a real person. She explains all of the outrageous stories by talking about how he accomplished something and then how the stories just spread like wildfire and became the magical stories that we hear today. Now, although this is a work of fiction, it's very believable, and it's possible to think of Merlin as a character who stepped out of the history books. Now, the first book in the series is called The Crystal Cave, and it covers Merlin's childhood. He's the illegitimate son of a Welsh princess who had an affair with a man that she refuses to name. Merlin is abused and bullied, afraid of his own family, and his only allies in the palace are his mother and a kindly servant. He learns to hide from the world and the accusations that he's the son of a demon. He befriends a hermit named Galapus who teaches Merlin magic and how to control his visions. The hermit lives in a cave in the hills above the palace, and this cave becomes a central part of Merlin's life. The book follows Merlin as he finds his way to the court of the High King, Ambrosius Arlenius, and there he finds the news that changes his life, and he also finds something that he has never had: happiness. Now, the second book in the trilogy is called The Hollow Hills, and it portrays the connection between Merlin and Arthur. Arthur is a boy growing up in the court of Count Ector of Galaba. He has no idea of his parentage. Merlin becomes a hermit in a shrine or a chapel in the hills above the court, and he finds his way to becoming Arthur's tutor. Through visions, Merlin discovers the magical sword of his and Arthur's, there's a spoiler alert there, ancestor. Eventually, Arthur, with a nudge from Merlin, discovers the sword and calls it Caliburn. Arthur finds his way to the court of Uther Pendragon, the High King, after his brother Ambrosius' death. Little does Arthur know that Merlin was Uther's counselor and one of the main perpetrators of Arthur's birth. In the heat of battle, Arthur proves to be a mighty warrior, even though he's only a boy himself, and the truth of his birth is revealed. Uther proclaims Arthur his son and rightful heir, and the sword of his ancestor Caliburn proves this claim to the entire court. The Last Enchantment, which is the final book in the Merlin trilogy, covers Merlin's life as he watches over Arthur's rule as the High King. As Merlin begins to age, his powers begin to wane. He's still Arthur's most trusted advisor, but Merlin eventually becomes a spy for Arthur, helping in any way he can as Arthur struggles on to unite Britain into the peaceful kingdom that he envisions. Merlin takes on an apprentice, Ninian, who becomes his one true love. Just before Arthur learns of his true parentage, he unknowingly sleeps with his half-sister, who produces a son, Mordred. Merlin has foreseen that Mordred will be the cause of Arthur's untimely death, but he cannot see how this will come about. He spends most of his later years keeping track of Mordred and watching the schemes of Mordred's mother and Arthur's half-sister, Morgause. Merlin becomes very ill and falls into a coma, making everyone he loves believe him dead. Ninian has him entombed in the cave of his childhood, which has become a haven for him many times in his life. Merlin eventually awakens from the coma, escapes from the cave, and anonymously finds his way back to Arthur. Once those he loves knows that he is still alive, he bows to Ninian as the new counselor wizard for Arthur and retires to his beloved cave, where he lives the rest of his long life in solitude and peace. Now, Stewart wrote a fourth book that's connected with the Merlin Trilogy, and it's called The Wicked Day. This novel portrays Mordred, the illegitimate son of King Arthur and his half-sister Morgause, in a totally different light than any other tale of Mordred. In The Wicked Day, Mordred develops a loving relationship with his father and later, unwittingly, fulfills Merlin's vision of becoming the death of Arthur. Once again, I hope you have enjoyed this peek into the CCCC library bookshelves. And I hope you will join us next time when we highlight another series from our library catalog.